What's up? It's Andy. This is episode 2 of the Twin Flame game series. Now, okay, so you have just leveled out of the tarot. And now you've accepted it, right? But not really. Like, you want proof. You want a lot of proof. So, I mean, anywhere. And at this point, you start to see like their car and their name, and you tell yourself like, no, it's because I'm like fuck that dude, you know, like because they kind of played you or whatever. So you're like, that's why I'm seeing them, like, you know. And okay, so for me, I'm gonna give a little rundown on mine. My twin is an identical twin, and I was an identical twin. And so when they came into my gym, like people would say like, oh, the cute twins or the twins or whatever. So then when I started hanging out with my twin, like when I would talk to people, I'd be like, oh yeah, my twin or whatever. And so I had put him in my phone as my twin with a flame, right? But I had never heard of twin flames, but I think my spirit guys were like, we're gonna make it real clear about twins. So, and I still didn't get it, but, so for me, I was certain that it was the algorithm, that I had talked about being identical twins. We talked about twins so much. I had him as twin in my phone that I couldn't buy it. I thought it was algorithm that was telling me that because we're twins, identicals. So, I needed the proofs. I mean, I was getting like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was getting like dowsing rods, and I'd be like, is he my twin flame? And he'd be like, yes. And I'd be like, asking like, is my ex my twin flame? And he'd be like, no. But I'd still like, nah, that's just because the way I'm feeling and saying it. You like, nothing will make you believe it until, you know, your ego mind is, your ego, especially if it's savage and it's never trusted it. If you've never trusted yourself, you won't. You still won't, because right now you don't have a connection with your spirit guides. You don't know how to be present, and you went through a lot of trauma, and right now you're still in victim mode, you know? You're just like, why is this happening to me? What the fuck, you know? And so you're gonna start trying to figure the shit out any way possible. Anyway. And so you do, that's when you kind of start going on to the teachers and you start getting obsessed. And the first thing you're gonna hear is that you need to go within. And like, go within. Like, that doesn't make sense to somebody that's never ever been spiritual. And yes, that is true. You have to go within. That is the only way through, is within. But you don't know what that means, right? You're like, I don't fucking want to go within. I don't want to, this is stupid. Like, fuck that dude, you know? And, but eventually you do. You want to, because you're so desperate. Because you don't know anything else. Your powers haven't come in. You're seeing weird things, you know. At this point, you're probably still masking with shit too, you know, because you're still toxic. And, so you go to that. And, eventually you're like, okay, I need to learn how to go within. So I'm gonna this is gonna be my next lesson. I started because, hey, you're gonna be embarrassed too. If this is not your gig and this is not your image, society, mainstream, has made spiritualism like a woo-woo thing. So it's like embarrassing to talk about, especially like a dude, or like me, as a tomboy. I'm basically like a dude. So it's embarrassing. And I at that point, I was still very my ego, so I thought everybody knew me, because in my industry, they did, which is dumb. Who cares? But then I cared. And so I cared what people thought about me. So like, I would be like embarrassed to try to meditate, or even around my kids. Like, I remember I was pulled to like go to a crystal shop. You don't know what being pulled is, or guided. You don't know your spirit guides are doing this for you. Right now you just think you're crazy and you're trying to figure it out. but they are guiding you. Like, why would I want to go to a crystal store? And I remember like putting a hat on and like having a hoodie on. All the people see me, and it's like, who gives a fuck? But then you do, and you probably do right now. So, tip number one is I started with sleep meditation. So before I used to watch all crime shit. So I would put on crime TV to fall asleep to, interrogations, murder stuff. Obsessed with it, right? Because I love violence and all that stuff. Obsessed with it. And eventually, side note, I brought it into my reality, and my ex tried to kill me in the same ways that I watched on TV. So, but at that point, I still don't understand how to say like, as within, so without. I don't know what that means yet. So, so I started that way, and it would be like an 8-hour meditation, and it would just be like affirmations. And so I'm like, all right, I'll try this instead. So I started to do that, and I would wake up later. It would be like, you know, I'm gonna have an amazing day today, or it's beautiful and everything, you know, whatever. But at that point, I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't want to. I thought I couldn't with my ADD. I thought, there's no way I can meditate. Fuck that shit. So I was trying to find a shortcut, like I did with everything in life. Seriously, and you will try to find shortcuts, and that's fine. It's fine, but you can't. You'll find out that you can't do any shortcuts. But that does help you. And then the next one I tried, because I still believed I could not be present with my ADD, limiting beliefs, which we're gonna get into all that, but that's way later. So then I started to try walking meditation, because I walk my dogs every single night. I just wasn't present. I was just in my head thinking about stuff all the time. Literally had no idea what was going on outside of me. I mean, there could have been murders going. I mean, who knows? I'd be walking in nature, but I had no idea what was actually happening. I was just in my head. Or I'd be like watching some crime stuff on there as I'm walking and being afraid I'm gonna get murdered. Because it was weird. I was weird, but I thought that was normal life. So then I started doing that one, and that one was good because it would make you end up being present. Like, it would be like, notice the air, and notice the tree, and you do, and you're like, well, I am kind of present, but all of a sudden you're back in your head, now, what are they even saying? I don't even have any fucking clue. And then you're trying to like rewind it, and you're just like, fuck that. I'll put something else on. But eventually you'll start seeing things out there where you're walking, like animals and random shit start happening, and you're like, oop, I lost my mind. Damn, I got way too high tonight. I still smoke a lot of weed, but you know what? That's a permission slip to your higher self. So, we're not gonna go there. But, okay, so I did that, and then I decided, I gotta learn. You're guided to want to meditate because you're desperate. So then I was embarrassed. So I would go in my closet and I would try to meditate, right? But I couldn't understand how to do that. So first I would try to be present with my eyes open, notice things in the room. That actually does help. Actually, that's probably as far as you should go. But then, like, for now, I don't want to get too far in how you meditate, because that's when things are going to start to come out in tears, and I'll show you what those are. But those are the traumas coming out, and let me tell you, they don't have anything to do with your twin. There was traumas coming out of me. I mean, my first one was when I they're noticeable because they're tears. You get a crazy memory, they come up and tears start coming out, but in buckets, and you have no control of it, and you're like, what is happening? And it's uncontrollable, and it'll happen for like an hour, and all of a sudden it's gone, and the next day that's gone. It's bizarre, but you haven't got that yet. So anyways, see, I go way ahead. I went way ahead. Okay, then you're gonna start to try to meditate. So the first thing is you think that you have to be in this position. You have to be in this position. Just try to focus your eyes to the middle of your forehead and close your eyes and don't try to do anything. Don't try to see stuff. Don't try to think of stuff. Don't try to set intention. Don't do anything. Just sit there. That's it for now. Just sit there. And anytime you start to, all of a sudden you got this whole thing going on in your head, be like, oh no, get out and be like, oh, and then just start to look at things again, notice things, take deep breaths. I'm not gonna go into breaths yet, because you don't fucking get that yet. It's stupid to even try it. So, just go back into trying to be present as many times as you can and just start for like 10 minutes. Eventually, we'll move on from there, but that's all I want you to do for now. And that was it. Well, I'll see you on the next one. Which I'm so torn because I have so many that I want to do. Okay, I'll see you on the next one.